Manchester United are in Dublin this week, and on the surface, it looks fine. A change of scenery, some team bonding, maybe a bit of rest. But I'm looking at this a bit different tonight. When you've got 24 days without a game, right? This is sort of unheard of. Is this the moment to build chemistry off the pitch? Some might say yes. Or should every possible day be used to fix what's still not right with Manchester United on it? Because to me, this trip could help Man United, but it could also be a real gamble. And I'm going to explain why. But if you want Manchester United content from a real football point of view, not clickbait, not recycled headlines like you see on a lot of channels, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Okay, guys? Because United Lens, we keep it honest here, we keep it real, and we look at the game properly from all aspects, not just what the media says and not what just generates clicks. So let's get straight into it. Because there's a big difference between team building and football building. And tonight, I want to ask whether United have got that balance right with this Dublin trip. Okay? So, straight away, Bilal, good evening to you. It's first one in the chat. Love that. Early doors. United have obviously jumped on the plane out to Dublin. And plane? Did I say plane or train? I'm now worrying I've done the whole planes, trains and automobiles. But you all know what I mean. They've obviously hopped on a flight. We've gone out to Dublin this week. And the briefing is United have gone out there for a reset and some intense training. Okay? For me, there is no intense training from what I've seen so far. I will come back to that in a bit. But what United haven't said in their briefings or their media coverage is this has been a promotional tour. Okay, they've seen the opportunity to advertise the pre-season friendly. They've seen the opportunity to get some media in-house watching training. There's been a lot of Irish media there covering it. They've obviously had access to Mbumo and Ahmad. So when you're trying to say that this training session is about getting the players back together, you know, after a long international break, and then obviously having even more time without a game, we're gonna get intense. We're gonna do intense training. No one does intense training when media has access to your training ground. Okay, they can't do tactical, which they were trying to claim was one of the reasons they went there, because you don't allow your tactical training to be filmed. Okay. When I had a look at the dates when they first released, you know, what the dates were they were going out there, I was like, okay, I get it. You know, United's trip to Dublin is, you know, as of today, up and running. Went out there yesterday, and they come back Thursday. Okay, sounds great on paper, right? But yesterday was a write-off because it's a travelling day. Thursday's a write-off, so it's 2 days or 2.5 days, really. Light training in Dublin, which could, you know, we've just spent 50 million on a training ground. We should be training there, okay? We can control the media better than anywhere else. So when I say this was a promotional tour, absolutely, it was. Ahmad, I think, did think he was in the Ivory Coast, but he's certainly a character, Bilal. Yeah, having access to Ahmad's interview, and if you haven't seen it, please go and find it. It's not comedy gold, but it's definitely up there. And Mbumo's done one. And right now, the base count is in base count. The base camp is at Colton House in County Kildare. Okay. One of the known sort of retreats for training and things for like the national team, and it's it's sort of more around the training area for the Gaelic football, which Man United have upset a couple of Gaelic teams regarding the facilities being set up now for football training rather than Gaelic training, which is quite funny. So when you start looking around where they are, it's wide open space. You could, if you've got a decent enough camera, you could film it from a distance. So I feel this is a real gamble from Michael Carrick, because whatever he is putting out there, we all know that everyone and their dog will have a camera trying to film Man United. So I looked a little bit deeper into what's gone on since they've been out there. And I'm not happy with it. And I think after I drop a bit more information about it, I don't think you're going to be happy about it. Yeah, Bilal knows. Amar were meant to be there. Training, and basically United paid more money and now they're not. So who travelled? First and foremost, who travelled? We've got Brian Deere, Lemons, Dermot Mee and Fred Heath. Now, I was surprised at the goalkeepers, because right now, the under-21s have just gone into extra time against Real Madrid. It is currently 2-2. 2 deflected goals to equalise for Madrid. So if anyone can keep me up to date with how it goes, it does look like it's going to end up going to penalties. Defenders on the trip: Mazraoui, Maguire, obviously new contract Maguire, we'll touch on that at the end. Martinez, Malacia, Dorgu, yes, Dorgu, but not full training, guys. He is there doing rehab. Lenny Yoro, Luke Shaw, Aidan Heaven, and Helafu. Now, I probably butchered his name, but another one of the youngsters has gone. Midfielders: Mason Mount. You know, you might have heard of that guy. I think we signed him from Chelsea. He's the invisible man. Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Yagate, Kobe Mainu, and I'm so happy to say Jim Freites has gone as well, who United could probably do with right now in this 21s match. Strikers, or forwards, whatever you want to call them these days: Cunha, Xerxes, Sesko, Mbomo, Ahmad, and Victor Musa. Now, when we've done the show on Sunday, I said one of the ones to watch: Victor Musa and Ajay, left wingers. So Victor Musa has travelled, which again I'm really happy about. Okay. So, for those wanting to keep up with the 21s, Bilal's just told me Madrid have just had a goal ruled out for offside in extra time. So we'll keep going on this. Dorgu will be doing his rehab. Martinez, though, back on the grass, back training with the team. So that couldn't be better timing, really, with Maguire's suspension for the Leeds game. So absolutely perfect. Now, let's hope he is back fully fit and he isn't seeing it as, I have to play because Maguire's suspended, and coming back that little bit too soon. So it's great to see him back. Now, the two players that didn't travel was Tom Heaton and Diego Dallo, believe it or not, ill. But I'm sure his illness will disappear before next Monday. Now, I'm going to read how this has been extracted from United about the mood of this trip is being sold as both serious work and a squad reset. So straight away, you can't have both. So there's a contradiction right there. If you're working hard, it's not really a reset because you're getting worn out, right? No one goes to the gym for a reset and then runs a 10K or a half marathon, do they? So this thing is reading really bad, but this is Manchester United's briefing. Club reports describe it as an intense camp with players trying to regain rhythm after a long gap and get themselves ready to finish the season strongly. Now, PR, United have the best PR, right? And if I wanted to get the PR running, where would I be? I would be straight out there going, yeah, this is to get the last 7 games behind. Do you know what gets players up and running? Friendly. Play some rubbish in-house friendly, behind closed doors, like we always have to. Go abroad to Portugal or somewhere else who aren't playing games this weekend because they're protecting their teams in the Champions League. Find someone, play a match. That's what gets you up to speed. You can try and be as intense as you like in training, but that's not as intense as it is in football. And let's be fair, one of the main things we lack at Manchester United is intensity when we play football. So this will be really, really interesting. Like how Carrick, and this is why you've seen it on the thumbnail, the Dublin gamble. Okay, Michael Carrick, first thing he came in, we've had some long breaks. He came in, he gave them time off. He came in, he gave them time off again. Now 24 days. He's given them more time off, and this one is a bit of a arm around the shoulder. Come on, lads, let's go play a bit of golf. Let's do some training in the morning, a bit of R&R in the afternoon. And although makes sense, we don't want injuries, right? Is that going to help us on the pitch? No. From my point of view, from my experience, that is definitely not going to help us on the pitch. Would you ever go back on the grass, Mark? Yeah, for some friendlies or something like that, probably charity matches. But I can still play. I still run around with the 18s, but it's just I'm just scared about tackles. Bilal, so that's the main thing. And well said. So Bilal is definitely in agreement. There's currently 10 of you watching live. So come on, get yourselves in this chat. Come put your points across. Tell me, how are you feeling about United being in Dublin, doing all this so-called reset, when they could be at Carrington, where we just spent 50 million, doing all of this there behind closed doors? Now, I know it's good to get away, have a different bit of scenery. But they did that during the international break. They've just been on holiday again. Yeah? So, come on, let's call this out, guys, and let's talk about this freely. It's all about your opinion. So, like I say, there's 10 of you watching here. There's about 15 of you watching on X. Get yourselves over and get involved. And while you're doing that, give it a good thumbs up on the way in, okay? Yeah, don't be shy. Bilal's in here on his own at the moment, chucking it out, and I'm sure you're agreeing. But let's get back to training. So there's been some footage put out, and it's not been really that intense. There has been just sort of like the rondos, little 2v2s, short packages, which you will see, okay? Now, for those who aren't aware, and I would hope a lot of you are these days, when media is invited, then they're generally invited to watch the warm-up and do interviews. So there's a pre-warm-up, which is the rondos. Then they do the laps, get a bit of, video footage, camera, photo footage, whatever you want to call it, of the players running, see who's back training with the team. Does anyone go off and do any other individual training like Dorgu is? And then they go back in and they do media duties depending on what stations are there and what the club has said is available. So far, it's been Mbumo and Ahmad. But this is one of those things. That's not rest and relaxation for those two players. Okay, come on, guys, get yourselves in early, get yourself training, work your asses off, intense. Oh, and then go do interviews while everyone else relaxes. It's not on. Okay, Dorgu should be doing it because he needs more relaxed time, right? Because he's had a longer injury. So it's all about the fan favourites. They would have looked into this. Who's got the most active current followers on, say, X or Instagram or something like that, and then they get picked out for an interview. But what I wasn't aware was that we were also doing a meet and greet for Nicky Bryan, former Westlife, Carla Rowe, and Harry McCormack's family were there, which, okay, I get that. So while we're doing meet and greets, You don't fly out to the Algarve, which is what we used to do, and train in Portugal, and do meet and greets with random Portuguese people, right? Again, this is United getting the media, getting the most out of this. All the time you're doing this stuff. Again, where's the relaxation? Because you know, and I know, the players don't want to be doing meet and greets, right? They want to be training hard and just going home, probably getting on Xbox, PlayStation, whatever they do off of the pitch. Now, there's a massive upside to this gamble from Carrick, and it goes with what I just said. They want to get home and do their own thing, the players. But back in the day, in Carrick's day, it was all about being together because they didn't really play so much. You hear about SOCOM on the back of the bus with Rio and Carrick and all of that. So they played together on the bus, but generally they didn't just go off and do their own things after training. They stayed there, they did extras. So there'll be no extras on this tour. This is the big gamble. I can understand why you would get your team together pre-season, do these away days, so to call. But with 7 games left, if we need to get the team together and get the team bonding for the last 7 games, there's a few red flags coming up. Okay. 1, are you telling me our team's divided? Because sometimes I feel like I watch a divided team on the pitch. And I like to think I'm wrong. But if Carrick's taking them away for bonding, then I'm now a little bit scared. And I'm scared for the summer and players coming in, because that means there's a divide within our squad. Carrick is currently getting the best out of them. So my head rules my heart in this, going, no, do you know what? I think he knows what he's doing. But on the flip side, if these players don't get on and trying to force them to when they've been given so much of their own free time, turn up, play your games, go home, don't get on, you know, there's history of that at the club. Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham is the first one that springs to mind, but there's definitely been others that a lot of players don't go into and they don't get on. Schmeichel and Keane, there's another one. I'm not reading that one out, Bilal. So they, you know, going and having a rooming and things like that. So sharing a room doesn't really happen anymore. They all have individual rooms. You end up buying out the whole bloody hotel for everyone. It'll only be the staff that end up sharing rooms. So the team bonding, it's bullshit. That's just going to call it what it is, guys, right? How many of you have ever been on a work away day? Yeah? Where you go away, you do your management course or your team bonding or whatever they call it. You don't get on with those guys, and you're only having fun if you're on the winning team. And let's be fair, one thing at Man United we don't want to talk about is the winning team photos. But you might get 1 or 2 who see people from a different perspective. But in general, it doesn't change anything. Once you're put back in the same building or on the same pitch again, the same shit arises. You're either playing or you're not playing. Someone's either passing to you or they're not passing to you. So, like I say, I looked into it more. So after I found out about the meet and greet, I started looking about the information coming out about the summer match, which is Wednesday the 12th of August at, I think it's Croke, or it might be a Cork Park, it might be a silent E. My butchery is great on names. I know you don't need to rub it in, guys. There is an 82,000 seater stadium that we will be playing at, okay? And that is what we're there for. We are pushing the media on that. 82,000 seats to sell out. Trust me, it'll be sold out in Ireland. I can guarantee we will sell 82,000 seats. Whether we advertised it now or advertised it the week before, we could sell 82,000 seats. But again, I thought these days were gone. In the Woodward era, where it was all about PR. We didn't go to Dubai, did we? And do those 2 friendlies in the last massive time off we had. which most of us think we should have done, because it wasn't right for the club, which another is PR speak of things aren't safe over there, so we're not going to go. Things look volatile, and quite rightly so, because of what it's led on to. Now we're in Ireland, and we've looked at the Scandinavian tour, the Ireland tour, and we're staying obviously home base for this, which I wish we did more often. You start finding, tickets for the August game is already selling from this week. They went on sale. Okay. So they're out there pushing these numbers, getting them at the highest price they can get, because we all know you get in early, you buy them at a higher price than having to sell them cheap for when they're not selling out. It's going to be the first game played there since Ireland, France in 2009. So when I had a look, there was a wider pre-registration, pre-sale window. Begins on, drum roll, tomorrow morning. You can go on, and then 48 hours later, in other words, Friday, general sale access. So United do it again, tie it all up. We won't care about our players. We don't care about the season. Let's generate some cash. So, yeah, what's your take on that, guys? Whether you're watching it now or later, come back in. Talk to me about Manchester United PR and how... Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if you see what I see in the fact that they don't care if they derail Man United's season, which is one hand on a Champions League place right now. They don't care about that. We need more money. We need to sell more tickets. We got Business United and we got Football Club United. We cannot have the two working together. Oh no, those days are gone. David Gill has left the house. We will never work in tandem as a twosome ever again. So come and tell me, guys. I can see Bilal trying to get you all in, and you're having none of it. So if you're just going to listen, that's fine. Bilal, just shoot out your questions at me. I'll read them out, and maybe that will generate other people's takes. Not got a problem with that. But we'll just keep it relevant to Dublin at the moment, if that's okay. So one of the Irish reporters has obviously put a massive story out about the Gaelic football. As Bilal said a minute ago, Gaelic's camp team was meant to be there, and well, yeah, they're not. So with all that good press, United is still getting bad press now in Ireland for doing that because of how highly Gaelic football is. And apparently it's one of Nicky Butt's favourite sports. If you've seen the podcast, you know what I'm talking about. So this is, for me, not great. Now, I said it was a gamble, right? So I've gone through everything that's going on, and I'm talking about having time away from the family, forcing players to be together. Okay, so these are sort of the negatives, and I like to start with the negatives because that means we've only got good to come, right? By going to Ireland, if this gamble pays off, with the games we have left, with how poor Liverpool are, how poor Chelsea are, well, hit and miss Chelsea, poor Liverpool. Let's be fair, Liverpool now just give up on games, right? Because I can't believe what I've read, and I've now seen the interview given by the Liverpool captain, Van Dijk, saying, oh yeah, we just gave up today. I can't understand how those words ever came out of professional footballers' mouth, but so I had to watch it firsthand. If that's the kind of mindset Liverpool's got going at the moment, maybe they've given up on their manager. Perfect time to be playing them. Leeds United, I could have done without them not winning on penalties and coming off a high from this weekend before we play on Monday night. But, you know, Battle of the Roses, we're always going to win it. So we'll go in there and we just batter them. But yeah, Chelsea, Forest, Brighton, all winnable games. All winnable games with the right kind of mentality, the do or die mentality. And if anything about this training camp, that is what we've got to have. We have to come back with this of, he's run 1 mile, I'm running 1.1. Oh, I'm running 1.2. they're always going to want to outrun each other, outcompete, but they're doing it for the team's benefit. Yeah. The average midfielder in the Premier League now, central midfielder, is running 10 to 12k, closer to the 12k, pushing higher. In sort of like the Brighton lower end, they will be pushing towards 13, 14k because of the intensity of the up and down end-to-end stuff. Obviously, Man City, Arsenal control the ball more, so they don't do as much running. When you only have 7 games left, one thing we cannot afford any of our players doing, and I hope this is what Carrick's saying. Yes, the World Cup is right there. You can touch it. But you're not going to have a place in this team to come back if you drop off now. If you start dropping your performance in, resting yourself because you don't want to get an injury before the World Cup, we can't have that. And that's not the Manchester United way, okay? They would have had the option to do an Arsenal, or we might as well just call it a Ferguson, and pull out of the internationals that they just had. They didn't do it. So my understanding of the mentality behind this is we need to get them back. We need to get them all on the same page and go, it's 7 cup finals. I know it's an old cliche, guys. I know. It's 7 cup finals. We're here to play every second of every game with the highest intensity. We score more goals than anyone else, and we just keep going. We make a mistake, they score, we pick the ball up, we put it on the centre spot, we go again, and we will beat you. We will outscore you. We will kick you if we need to kick you, pinch you, punch you, slap you around the face. I don't care. As long as it stops and we get the win, that's the way United come back. That's the way we get extra money in at the end of the season. That's the way you get your 25% back on your wages by guaranteeing that Champions League football. So what do you reckon, guys? Come on, talk to me. I'm just going to have a look to see what Bilal's put in here. We could have played the 21s or the 18s, anything involving a 90-minute game. We could have, but we wouldn't have because of this current game that they're playing now. But we could have definitely put the second string 21s and the second string 18s together as a team over this weekend. Totally agree with you. But in the same sort of boat, you could have gone and got someone else's under 18s. Most under 18 seasons have more or less finished. I think United have got 1 or 2 games left in theirs. So some teams have done, even if you're playing at a lower level. It's like you said, it's about getting minutes, 90 minutes. Because last time we played, you saw the joke where Chelsea got beaten by their under 15s and Maresca stopped the match. And I think we played the under 16s and they scored, was it against Amarin or Ten Hag after about 30 seconds? So it didn't go down well. So maybe once bitten, twice shy in that respect. Did you know Gaelic football isn't professional? I did not know that. Real scored against the 21s. Or Castel, I should say, because we're not meant to call them Real Madrid. We're meant to call them Castel because they play as under the title of the second team as the 21s. Yes, so guys, going back, the gamble. Let's hope it pays off because, I can't wait. I cannot wait to be back in the Champions League. Tuesday, Wednesday nights, bloody brilliant. Yeah. Thursday nights, we all hate it. So let's move on to some positive news, which I was over the moon personally to hear got done today at last. Again, great timing by Manchester United's PR team. Like I say, we arrive in Ireland and Harry Maguire sits down and does an interview about his new contract. And it's smart business. I don't know what people think about keeping Harry Maguire on, but for me, I think it's really, really smart contract negotiations. I am just getting the information up now. I don't know what's been released, so we'll have a quick look. it's like I say again. We knew it was in talks, and they've timed it to perfection. So he signed it today, and the information that has been released is United also hold a option for a further year. So he's signed now till June 27 with a 1 year option, which is the kind of contract we feel he should have been given us. Just do it. Basically, it's a 1 year rolling contract. If you take up the option, they'll go back into negotiation again. So 1 year to take him to June 28. His old contract was due to expire at the end of the season, so before June as well. So they've done that. The official club line, United praised his leadership, professionalism, and resilience, while Maguire said he believes the club's best moments are still ahead of him. In other words, he wants to get in the Champions League, right? Timing of the announcement came while United on their Dublin training camp, so it fits into the week's wider message of stability, preparation for the run-in. Do you see it all coming together now? Holding it all back, doing all these kind of announcements because, yeah, we're getting it all together, guys. We're going to be together as a team, as a business, as a collective, going into the summer window. It's all PR, okay? So it is one of those things we have to worry about, but are you happy? I'm happy. I said we need a spine. Lemons in goal, over the moon. Harry Maguire, whether he plays 20 games or 40 games next season, I'm happy because he's a leadership quality and we can't count on De Ligt. Now let's get the midfielder right and let's get a bit more. We've got Bruno, but let's get maybe someone else up front, okay? That's all we can hope for. But I think it's a great deal. What are you guys saying? You got to come back at me and tell me what you think, because old Slabhead, I think there is no one better in either box at getting his head on the ball. It might even just be a glancing blow, but he's just always there. And for me, that's why England have got to take him as well. Do you know what I mean? He just offers something that not many centre-backs offer anymore. They're all good with their feet, but how many of them can actually get up and head the ball clear? Not many, you know. So that's the way I see it. But going forward, we need to look at maybe some youngsters coming in. Funny enough, Bilal has just put this in. The German lad Ajay looks decent. He is, and he's absolutely rapid, and that's what I was saying. You got Ajay and you've got Musa, both really good left wingers. Musa can play left and right. I prefer him inverted on the left. And obviously we've got Shea Lacey as well. They were my three earlier this week, what we spoke about. So, Bilal, let's have a quick chat regarding a few other little bits of United news, which were sort of touched on by other channels, and a lot of channels wanted to ignore it, and quite rightly so. So I'm going to touch on it and why we should have all ignored it. There were stories have been about two Real Madrid players. You've got Camavinga and Vinicius Jr. Absolute rubbish. You know, you've got to keep your eyes out for this, guys. If my son has seen that we were signing anything that linked Vinicius Jr. to Manchester United, he would have believed it in a heartbeat and probably gone out and started buying a shirt straight away. You know, but we're not capable of bringing those players in anymore because we won't pay their wages, and they're the wrong kind of player for Ineos would want. Plus, if you think Ineos could actually perform in that kind of negotiation, it's not happening. Camavinga, no. I would loan him if there was any truth in it, but I don't believe there is. It's just someone who is fighting for a spot and trying to say, look, if I'm not going to play at Real Madrid, which he didn't start tonight, Tchouaméni did, then I'm going to look elsewhere, because he's been there now, what, 2.5 years, 3 years? So absolute rubbish chucked in there. We will still focusing on the same 4 names of Walton, Anderson, Tonali, and probably Bruno G as the 4 main. I know there's stories out there about a certain Wolves midfielder, Gomez, but he's not a replacement for Casemiro. He can't even get in the Brazil team, that Casemiro's playing in. So that is just not on. And if we wanted someone in that position that was Brazilian, we go for Ederson. Same money, much higher ceiling, much better already than Gomez. So yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it for the night. There's 9 of you watching, and Bilal has given me as much as he can. He says Musa can play up top 2. Yes, he can. He can literally play anywhere, but it's more because of his pace than anything else. And so can Ajay. There's 9 of you watching. There's all of you over on X. Would love it if you came over here onto YouTube and just give it a thumbs up. If not, all of you, just share the video. Just hit the share button. Whack it out on your socials. Be amazing. I will be back on Friday night with, I don't know if you remember these. It was called a preview of a match. It was a long time ago. We used to do these on the channel. On a lot of channels, there used to be previews. I'm going to do mine on Friday. I know we don't play till Monday, but I've also got a show I'll do Sunday night. So we'll probably do a preview. We might do the preview Sunday, actually. I might hold off the preview and I'll come up with something for Friday night. This is what this is all about, guys. With you guys here, Danny might join in a bit. Yeah, absolutely. With you guys here, if you all come in the chat or you all come in the comments, it helps me build a show because it tells me what you want to talk about. Whether you want to discuss the bullshit rumours, whether you want to have a conversation about, well, what do you think about this player, that player, the Fletchers coming through, the youth for next season? Who do you think is the right midfielder, striker, defender? You all help. So with your help, I put videos out. So you're always involved. Bilal knows this. Danny knows this. And so do a lot of others who are normally here. I get it. It's Champions League football tonight. People are probably listening and watching that at the same time. Not got a problem with that. United under-21s were playing. Not got a problem with that. I was watching it up until we went live. Okay? But just keep putting the video out there, guys. And until I see you Friday night, have a good rest of this nice short week because it has the runoff from Easter now. And I will see you soon. Take care.